All right, so speaking of special types of content, one you're probably going to like is image box. So image box allow you to do something like this, where you have an image on top and content underneath. Now, what you want to do before we start putting a content box down, we want to think about what we want it to do. So over here on big screens, we want it side by side. But on mobile screens, we want the first one on top, the second one on bottom, and the third on the very, very, very bottom. So that means we don't want just a regular box. We want a magical box. We want a grid. So let's put a new grid down. You just go ahead and drag it over. Cool, cool. Go back here, go back, head down here, and we're just going to drag and drop that image box over. All right, beautiful. And you could go back and you can add it manually for each one. You could also right-click, copy, right-click, paste, right-click, paste. All right, so they're all there. Now we need buttons. So let's go ahead, let's right-click this, and let's paste, paste, and paste. So the thing with this, though, it's not going to pop up like this. Because what Grid understands is that, hey, when it's mobile, when we're looking on a phone, it's going to have these three on top, and then the three buttons on the bottom. They aren't, what we need to do, we need to put each one in its own box. This needs a box, this needs a box, and this needs a box. So the Grid understands these all belong together. So what you can do with that, go back here, grab a container, plop it right in there. All right, this is now in our grid. Now, the thing with WordPress, you think you could just click this and drag it up there, right? Well, sometimes it just is not a fan of that. So what I do instead, let's move this back on top where it belongs. Come on, WordPress. Is I just right-click, copy, and right-click, paste. Same with this, right-click, copy. Go over here, right-click, paste. All right, and then just delete these, right-click, delete, right-click, delete. It's a bit of a pain, but it works. And now if we look over here, let's go down here. We get to see we have a grid, and this is a container. So it has an image box and a button. Now, for this, let's go ahead, let's add another container. All right. So you would think that you can just drag this image box into the container here, right? Well, unfortunately, sometimes WordPress gets a little funky. It still doesn't want to put that image box there. And if we drag it up here, it's just going to be in between this empty box and this box over here. So unfortunately, what you got to do is just copy, paste, right-click, copy, right-click, paste. All right, and then delete, and then delete. Now we could go ahead and manually grab a container like we did before and do all that. What you can do instead is let's delete these extra buttons. You can just go ahead and click one of these containers, say copy, right-click, paste. And there you go. You got a new container. They're all the same, so it doesn't really matter. So that's just a fast way where you don't have to manually create each container for the same thing. Just make one. Like, for example, I'm going to go ahead and delete this guy. I'm just going to delete him. And I'm just going to delete him. All right, I'm going to go over here, copy. You actually just do this too. You just right-click, duplicate, right-click, duplicate, and perfect. And going back into here, just go ahead and type new stuff. It will pop up. grab an image from somewhere. You can upload new ones too. You can upload files, grab it for your computer. You can grab something from their website if you want to do that instead. So let's just shows him. All right, see now he's in there. All right. And don't worry about this fourth one down here. It knows that there's nothing there. It's just telling you can drag a new thing in that area, so this isn't going to mess with anything. But yes, that's an example of how you can use boxes to create new content, to change things up a little bit. Now, one other thing is that sometimes a piece of content won't have the behavior you're looking for. For example, that's why we added a button down here, and we couldn't, the original content that we had up here didn't have an area for us to create a button. They're separate bits of content. This, similarly, whoop, I just did Control V to get rid of that little change. Okay, come here. All right, for this, let's say we want to do price feature. But hey, look at that. It's popping side by side. It's not going down as a list. So this isn't the behavior we want. We don't want a paragraph. We want a list. So you can just delete that, leave the description empty. Nothing will pop up there. Go back here and let's see, what can we use to get that behavior? So you could have toggle. We don't want to toggle it on or off. We just want a list. So we can instead use something called icon list. Let's go ahead and drag that in there. So cool. And for this, you can go ahead and change what this is here. You can change the icon, whichever one you want there. Just have that, insert. So you could do that manually for each one, or like what we showed before, we could delete these and do copy. Tell it again, we want to copy this, copy, so it all has the same behavior. We're going to manually change each one. Now, you might be going, well, this isn't still what I want. I want all the text in the middle. So how you do that, in this case, we're going to go to advanced. And if we go down here, we're going to say, hey, text, we want you to align yourself. We don't want you to align it from the start. That's what it is right now. We don't want you stretching. That would be that. We don't want you jumping to the end. We want you in the dead center. So that's what that is. And then for this, to change the text, you would just click each item here. This would be blah, 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 blah the second. You can see how it adjusts based on the size. So as you see, WordPress is a lot of plenty of different pieces. It's Legos. So you get to see what different content has different powers to it or different features you can use. And you can plug in and play and adjust things to fit exactly what you're looking for. It will just take some time to get used to the different ones. Nothing can take the place of just playing around in your own sandbox and seeing which ones you like, which ones you don't like. But you'll get used to it over time.